Hello, 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 good evening everybody. It's freezing here today. It's fleeing. Can't believe it. Look at me, I'm back with jumpers on, polar neck. And it's going dark. It feels really dark and dismal, and I've got really bad back. I'm moaning. I'm sorry, I'm really whinging. I've got really bad back. I told you, I think was it Sunday or Monday night? No, it was Sunday night. The very first night of this masterclass, yeah? This is, I don't know, serendipity or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. I was putting my trousers on and I pulled something in my back. I've got no idea what it is that I've done, but by God, I have been in agony. I've hardly slept. I can't walk. Have you seen that sketch by Julie Walters? You know the one where she comes waddling into the restaurant like this and she goes, "Oops." That's what I feel like this week. I've been like a hunched up old lady like this when I'm walking. I've been so ibuprofen, so much pain. So I've not been sleeping. And today I was exhausted. And I went to bed this afternoon about 2 o'clock and I slept until about 5 o'clock, I think. It was crazy. So, so I've got a bit of apology to make. I haven't had chance to look at everybody's task 3 yet. I want to look at them all and answer them all personally and read every single story, but there's like 80 odd of them at the minute. And great, I want more, the more the merrier, but I just haven't had a chance. So I will do some more tonight before I go to bed, and then I'll do some more in the morning, but then of course there'll be day 4 tomorrow. So just bear with me. We have all weekend, and I promise you that every single comment will be replied on before Monday night. I promise. I will read personally every single one, and I will give you feedback in some way. Absolutely promise that. I'm just going to I have to put my glasses on to look at these comments and see how people are. Hello guys. Evening, freezing West Yorkshire. Oh my goodness. Is West Yorkshire Harrogate? Because that's where my mum lives. And she's poorly. She's got cancer. It's not very nice. She's got 12 weeks in lockdown, all on her own. And the only time she gets out of the house is to go to have her chemo, which is really sad. Anyhow, that's by the by. Right, okay. There's nothing major. A couple of things. Lots of people, no, not lots actually, a few people have mentioned that they've started to feel a bit of anxiety since they've been doing this, and it's making them feel a bit uncomfortable, and that is normal. You've got this unruly much mob in your head that's been used to getting its own way, but they really are not very cohesive. They're not working very well together, and they've had very little direction from the human, and they're feeling threatened. There's like a threat going on, change, threat, there's lots and lots more. There is just so many threats at the moment, which I'm going to go through tonight. So it's sort of, although this has come at a really good time to try to help you because your emotional eating may be stronger, in some ways it's not come at the best time because we're already feeling out of our normal routine, our comfort zone. There's lots of threats in many other ways that's going on. So if you're feeling a little bit of anxiety, more than normal, then, that's normal. And I would suggest, and I'm not with you, I'm not a professional that's working one-to-one with you, and, I'm not a psychologist. I'm more of a coach than a psychologist. As in, I've not been trained to be a psychotherapist, or a psychiatrist. So I would suggest that you get some one-to-one professional help if it's got really bad. If it's just a bit more than normal, then my suggestion, and it is only a suggestion, would be to you to carry on. Peter, there's somebody on the group now, Wendy Wolfe, asking where is it tonight. Could you just tag her please in the post? If you just go to the bottom of the masterclass where we are now and just type in Wendy Wolfe, you can, up, go to the top where you can see that. Stop, go down, sorry about this. Go down to where my video is that I'm on now. There, right, okay. Click on the comments and just put Wendy Wolfie Hurston and it will tag her. Sorry guys. Somebody asked him to try and get in the group, can't find it. So a little bit of anxiety is normal. I would suggest that you push through that. I would suggest that you keep with it, because change, this is a different way of doing things. Change is difficult, you know, and you want to get back in control. So if you give up now, all of this has been for nothing really. And you know, I don't think you're going to feel very good about yourself. I think you perhaps may even feel more anxiety. It'll be that giving up of the diet, where, you know, at the time it's difficult, we feel uncomfortable, we stop, and then we feel worse after. So I would suggest that you just ride the wave and go with it, okay? But, you know, if you're feeling really bad, maybe stop, get some professional help. The second thing is I would really, really, really like to ask you a favour. Would you do me a favour, and would you please go to my Amanda Jane Duggan Facebook page, and if you're having a good experience, would you please write me a small review? It only needs to be a sentence, just to say that you've been on the masterclass and you found it helpful. You can write as much as you want. But it's a new Facebook page, because before I was always associated with the New Leaf business, and this I want to actually branch out in my own right as an emotional eating expert. So I need to get as many likes and as many reviews on there as possible. And I'm providing this 5 days for you free, so I just thought maybe you might just do that little thing for me in return. Not that I'm manipulating your monkeys or anything like that, but you know, if you would. Now, they always say, you know, if you like it, tell others. If you don't like it, tell me. So if you don't like it, tell me, because I can't change it if you don't like it. I'd love to know whether you do or you don't like it. And if you don't like it, I need to know. So please PM me if you're not happy or you're struggling or anything else. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick look at the comments. I'm strong up, but my monkey's been feisty this afternoon, but I've not given in. Excellent, Olivia. Feeling a bit pressurised. My husband doesn't take anything I do seriously. Time to get back in the driving seat, my darling. As soon as I know change is coming, part of me gets excited, but there's a point of resistance towards change that always raises its head. We're going to talk about that tonight, Marie. Love this masterclass. Certainly will be a pleasure. Actually love it. Fantastic. You are manipulating our monkeys. I'll do a review. Thanks, Olivia. What did I miss? Nothing, Dawnay. Just asking people if they do a review, saying for me if you could, please. And also just saying that if you are feeling a bit over anxious, that maybe you need to stop and get some professional help. If you're feeling a little bit of anxiety, that is normal. Okay. Helen says she's in control. Her monkey is quiet today. That's great. I'm so pleased. So pleased. Okay, let's get started for tonight. So let's just do a little bit of a recap. We talked about our much mob. Okay, our monkey, our unicorn, our computer, and our human. And we named them. We gave them all little names. And we identified that most of us have this unruly mob of creatures in our brain that are not working effectively and cohesively together, and that we need to get them working together for our higher self. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to change our much mob into our chum chain. It's a chain because it's all linked together nicely, and chum because they're our friends again. And actually we want them in that order. So we want the computer free from gremlins, we want the human in charge the most, we want the unicorn just keeping our highest self at the forefront of our mind and keeping us safe, and we want the monkey there just in case we've got some major catastrophes that we need him to step in for. Okay? Whereas at the moment it's all higgledy-piggledy and upside down. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so is everybody with me on that one? Is everybody okay? Right, okay, so we talked about the monkey and its basic instincts and drive. So it is the bit that asks itself in every situation, do I fight it, do I eat it, do I mate it? It is about getting back in control, being in control of your life, as in physically being alive. We can't kill it. It's selfish. It'll do everything it can to get its own way. But we cannot kill it. And some people have been right, and I just want to kill my monkey. You can't. Because it's the most important part. It's the bit that developed first because it's so important. It keeps us alive. And when we were in the jungle, it needed to be probably more dominant than the human. That was years ago. Now, our human brain has developed since then, but our monkey brain, because it was so dominant early on, is still there. And if our human brain hasn't learned to be in control, our monkey brain will still take precedent. So if we didn't have our monkey brain, we would die, and so would the human race. Now, those of you that have had weight loss surgery, if you've had a sleeve, some of you will have had this phenomenon of ghrelin hormone being reduced, that you didn't feel any hunger. And if you have noticed that over between about 6 and 18 months, that comes back, that hunger comes back. Now, it never comes back in the absolute way it did in the beginning, before you had the surgery, but it comes back. And that's a blessing, because if it didn't, and you weren't using your human brain, or the instructions from your weight loss surgery provider that says, even if you're not hungry, you need to eat this much, that much, and you were just going on your intuitive eating, then what would happen is you would die, because you just wouldn't feel hunger. And the hunger hormone, the hunger thing, comes from the monkey brain. Does that make sense? I'm going to have to think of another word for, does that make sense? Peter, think of another word for that does that, another phrase, because I keep saying it over and over again. So we would die if we didn't have it. So we've got to learn to manage it. We identified it's like a small child in its behaviour. It's selfish, it's greedy, it wants its own way at any cost. It cannot work out cause and effect, so it doesn't know if I do this, this will happen. And it talks to you in your brain. It's the one that goes, go on, go on, go on. You know you want it. You can start again tomorrow. Diets always start on Monday, it's Thursday. You deserve it. You need a treat. You've worked really hard. It's the one that sends you words and pictures and stories that are going to make you go against your real, true desires. The human desires that tell you that if I do this, I need to do this to get to where I want to go. The monkey doesn't give a shit. It just wants what it wants, and it will do everything it can to get you there. So it doesn't have any concept of cause and effect, and it tells you these stories. And because of this, we can think that that is us, that it's our human brain, and that there's something not right, that we're defective. For God's sake, what's wrong with me? I don't have enough willpower. I'm stupid, I'm rubbish at this, I'm never going to do this, all of that lot. Because we've always believed that that is us. Now, when we can separate the two, we realise that it's not us personally, us human, that's driving these behaviours. It's our monkey that's not been managed properly. And that's very liberating and freeing, because it makes us realise, actually, there's nothing wrong with me. I have got the right ideas for me. I've just been hijacked by my monkey, and I need to learn how to manage my monkey so that my best and biggest desires can be fulfilled. So if you learn to manage our monkey, eventually it stops its tantrums, it goes to sleep, or it goes out to play, and it will let the human get on with making the decisions. It will always be there if you need it. So if, for example, you're on Bear Grylls Island, your monkey would be really active because it would come and find ways for you to get extra energy, to find food. Some of the feats of endurance that they endure are amazing because of their monkey, so we need it. But not as much as we've been allowing it. Okay. Has everybody got that? That's better than do you understand it? Do you get me? Do you get me? Has everybody got that? Are we okay? Let me have a look if there's any questions. It's not the same as the hunger feeling 4, but it's definite hunger feeling. Yeah, Julie, I know exactly what you mean. I'm a year and a few months. My hunger hasn't come back, but I do eat 3 meals and enjoy each one. No hunger, but desire to eat. Okay, I got that. Not sure if I have hunger. I graze all day. If you are grazing all day, it's very unlikely you ever feel hunger. A lot of people have never felt actual hunger, because they just don't wait long enough to feel hunger. They fix their feelings when they just start before they get there. And feeling hungry is a really important thing for you to be an intuitive eater. I always say wait 3 hours before every meal. And I'm not said I wasn't going to go into food and diets here, but if you want to start to learn to feel your hunger, you need to wait at least 3 hours in between eating. By using my spinning bike, am I feeding my monkey more then? I don't quite understand that, Katie. You're exercising your monkey, you'll probably keep it quiet. Exercise is always a good thing, and if it makes you hungry, that's fine, because that's physical hunger. That's not a problem, that's not your monkey. 8 years post-sleep, I get an acid reflux when I need to eat. Yeah, be careful with that, because you might end up grazing too often, so you might want to get some omeprazole or lansoprazole to make sure that that doesn't happen. Caveat, I'm not a doctor, but I have dealt with lots and lots of people that have had weight loss surgery, and that can be a big thing. Okay, I'm going to carry on because I could spend all night answering your questions. So, let me just get rid of them for a minute. I can't. Okay, so next comes the unicorn. So the unicorn, that is the spiritual, if you like, the ethereal part of the brain. It's the bit of the brain that, well, everything's pink and fluffy, and it's looking after your higher development needs. So the monkey looks after your base needs, keeping you alive, making sure you've got enough opportunities to procreate, and fighting if there's any threats. The unicorn is looking at the higher development needs that all humans need to feel whole. The monkey is keeping you safe from life-threatening situations, but the unicorn tries to keep you away from pain at all costs. So the unicorn has got two parts to it, and it's a bit difficult, but if you can get one out of the two, that'd be really good. So just concentrate on one. If two's too difficult for you, concentrate on one. It's really difficult for me to get these concepts over in such a short period of time. If you come on the course with me, you have much longer together to work on this, but this is a very condensed version. So it wants to help you become a whole person spiritually, and in that way it looks to develop your basic human needs, and the other part of it is it keeps you safe and free from pain. So let's just talk about these basic human needs for a minute. Some of you may have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where it's like a triangle, you know, and at the bottom of the triangle we have to make sure that we've got food, and then we've got shelter, and then we've got, I can't even remember what they are, to be honest with you now. I've completely forgotten, my mind's gone blank, but it's like a triangle of needs, and they are the real basic human needs, but these ones are more about spiritual needs or development needs. So there are 6 of them, and some of them will be higher than others, and I'll explain that in a minute. The certainty. That is the need for stability, security, and things to be reliable. Now, if you think about the situation we're in at the moment, that's really threatened. We have got very little, probably for the first time in our whole life, our certainty of our daily routines and what's going to happen is threatened more than it has ever been threatened before. So our unicorn ain't very happy. Now, certainty is one thing, but on the other hand, another need is uncertainty or variety. Let's put it like that, variety. So our human needs, we need stimulation, we need to be challenged, and we need change. We like that to a certain extent. All of these need to be balanced. And again, at the moment, our variety, our excitement, our stimulation is very, very much reduced. We're stuck in our cages, in our own homes, and not able to be stimulated in the way that we normally are. We're not able to be challenged. We're even not going to work, a lot of us, so the challenge that our careers and our work gives us is gone. So again, that is being threatened. The third one is significance. So it's recognition We want to feel valued. We want to be acknowledged. And a lot of us, again, get that through our career. And if we're not going to work and haven't got that through our career, and particularly if we don't feel acknowledged and recognised in our home life, and I see this an awful lot with people I work with, they may feel very recognised in their career, but at home they don't feel recognised by their husbands, by their family, by their wives, and they don't feel valued. So if you're at home a lot in that environment at the moment, and you're not getting the recognition of value and acknowledgement from your career, then you're going to be feeling, your unicorn's going to be feeling a bit upset. I feel more in control of lockdowns. I have time at last to get basic things done. Excellent. Okay, so the next one is love and connection, and this is probably the biggest. Everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody wants to feel connected with others. We all need that. And if we think we don't, it's because we have got programs in our brain that are telling us that is unsafe. And that is those gremlin beliefs, those limiting beliefs that we're telling you've learned somewhere along the line that to connect with others is unsafe. But if we didn't have those gremlin beliefs in there, that would be a really important one, to feel loved and to show love to others. And if we're not getting that, so for example, if you're isolated and you're on your own and you can't get out and see your friends and your family, yet again, we're being threatened on that level. The next one is growth. We want to grow, we want to improve, and we want to develop. And again, our opportunities for growth have been, for most of us, significantly reduced. And the last one is contribution. So we want to feel that one is contributing to life and making a difference. Lots of us don't feel like that now, and some of us may feel that is heightened. So for example, our key workers may feel that they're contributing more than they've ever done. And they may feel that they're being valued more than they've ever done. And they're acknowledged more than they've ever done, which is great. But on the other hand, their need for stability and security and reliability is much more threatened than those of us that, like Marie says, I can go back to basics because I'm in my house. Those people that probably go out every day, who haven't got enough PPE equipment, don't get me on that one, but still, they're going to be feeling really threatened for their safety and their stability and their security. So can you see how everybody's basic human needs are different and they change at different times? Okay, do you get me? True for me, never feel recognised myself at home. I feel the same way. I'm usually so busy. Time is amazing, yeah. But of HD and varieties is important to certainty. Yeah, absolutely. I feel more control. I'm not going out for meals, and I can plan better. Good. So, okay. Everything that I house is magic. Clean clothes. My job is carer to my teenagers with additional needs. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. You've got to think about that. But that, you know, we could talk about that all night, about us being carers for people. But we do need to care for ourselves as well. Okay. So the unicorn's looking to make sure that we are getting these basic human needs met. But it can't provide these for the human. The human's got to provide them for the unicorn. And this is where it gets a bit tricky. Because the unicorn, if these aren't being provided, it sends signals to the human in terms of feelings or emotions and asks the human to listen to these emotions and provide what it needs. Okay, so feelings are emotions, and the word emotion means energy in motion. And a feeling or an emotion is supposed to rise, it'll get to its peak, and it falls and it goes away. Now, if it's a very big emotion, it won't go away completely, but that absolute gripping, like for example, when I talked about yesterday, hearing the colleagues talking about me, it never happened that, by the way, but if it did, in that moment I would feel a huge emotion, but it wouldn't last. Now, what I might do is I might try to stop that emotion. And what my unicorn and I have learned does that, I'll go and get some chocolate and I'll try and stop that emotion in its track. So I don't feel it. But the thing is, the emotion is there to tell the human that something's missing, that it needs to consider something, it needs to think about something. And maybe one of the basic needs is being threatened. So for that one, my basic human need of love and connection was being threatened. My basic human need for recognition and value may have been threatened. Okay, so it's going, this is being threatened, this is being threatened, what are you going to do about it, what are you going to do about it? Now, most of us have lost touch with our emotions and feelings. Society has taught us not to feel those emotions or feelings. And that could be why some of us, when we're in lockdown, actually feel much safer. Because we can't be triggered by humans and other people and what's going on around us. So our emotions are much more in track. Because there's less triggers from the outside world. Okay. But we've been taught to stop these feelings in tracks. We're taught, don't feel your emotions, don't show your emotions, get a stiff upper lip, it's weak to cry, big boys don't cry, oh for God's sake, pull yourself together, what's the matter with you, blah de blah de blah. Okay? And that's particularly a very British thing, that we don't feel our emotions. We're taught not to feel them. On top of that, we've been taught by society to have lots of quick fixes to actually help with our emotions. So I talked about this the other day, about these well-meaning parents and grandparents that come along when a child is very young, they fall over, they hurt themselves, out from the handbag comes a lollipop. Oh, there you go, darling, don't cry. Give them a lollipop. The child sucks the lollipop, shuts up. Immediate connection, sweets, food, sugar, lollipop, makes that feeling go away, so I don't have to feel it. So we've learned to stop the emotions that with alcohol, drugs, food, whatever it is, and the computer then is stored full of quick fix things. And our unicorn looks for the quickest way of stopping the feelings, which might be food. It's learned to stop the emotions that it has created in the first place. So it's in complete turmoil. But because its biggest drive is to stop pain at all costs, it will use the quickest way it knows. But then the human needs are not being met and the cycle continues. And that, for me, there is the difficult bit to understand. So how is it stopping stopping the feelings it's created in the first place? Because the feelings or the drive to stop you being in pain is most important. And if you found a way that you don't feel emotions, it's a natural human thing to feel emotions. And if we were allowed to, we'd just get used to that and go, oh, well, that's what that's telling us. Oh, yeah, that's what that's telling us. That's just a signal for me to do something. But because we've been taught not to feel them, we've been stopping those feelings in its track, and that causes difficult problems. Our unicorn then goes to the things that solve the pain the quickest. So the human then has this underlying feeling of being irritable, discontented, uneasy, that something's just not right, I don't know what it is, and the unicorn bloody hates this feeling and it will do everything it can to stop it. Now if you go back to when you're younger, the healthy unicorn, if you think of a small child, that small child will process those feelings if the grandparent doesn't come along with the lollipop. It'll fall over, it'll cry like shit, get it all over and done with, and then within minutes, it gets up, picks itself up, and it's off. You see it all the time. It feels the emotion in its entirety, it feels the intensity of it, it allows itself to cry, it allows itself to get it out there, and then it stops, it gets on with life, and it's forgotten. Because it's felt the emotion fully, and there's nothing left stuck. Allows the feeling to come and go, it rides the wave, and the energy has gone up, down, and stopped. Does that make sense? But as we grow older, we learn to stop the feelings. So it goes up, we go, stop, food, alcohol, drugs, sex, exercise, whatever it might be. Stop that feeling now, and it's stuck. We've learned to stop it with external things. The unicorn just wants you to be happy. And when we stop it with external things, momentarily it goes, yay, oh, she's not in pain. But because it comes back quicker and stronger, because energy cannot be destroyed. If we stop it, what we resist will persist. So it comes back next time a bit stronger, and a bit stronger, and a bit stronger. Okay? Let me have a look at the questions, because I'm hoping I'm getting this round. There's so much explained like this. Oh, thank God for that. I was really worried that you wouldn't understand. Can you make a difference if you have to ice? Do you make a difference if you have to? I'm going to go through these later. In lockdown, can't go out for a meal. It's an advantage. You give me so much confidence. I can plan much more and be successful this time. I'm the opposite. My emotions are worse during this because of the uncertainty. When will I see my beloved? When will I get my skin removal survey? When will this happen? Absolutely, Olivia. And that's what I'm saying. It's different for everybody. And that's why one size just doesn't fit all. And you need to have the right tool for the right problem. You can control your immediate environment, what is around you. If you're not going out, you can make more home-based decisions while waiting for things to return to normal. Concentrate on what you can change and let go of the things you can't for now. Brilliant. That's really good. Yeah. So much sense. Absolutely spot on. Light bulb moment. Brilliant, Dawn. Excellent. Okay, so you're getting me. Right, so what can we do? What can we do about this? Well, the first thing we can do is we can look at those 6 basic human needs on a regular basis and make this part of our development plans, if you like. Now, I review my plans for my life on a regular basis. I treat my life and my spiritual and personal development a bit like my business. I look at where I want to go, I look at what I need to develop, and I look at how I'm going to get there. And I would suggest that we all do that we start to then go, every week I'm just going to spend 20 minutes looking at how I am actually getting these basic human needs met, so that I am looking after my unicorn. I am soothing and understanding what my unicorn needs. Okay? Now I'm going to go back through those human needs again, and I'm going to relate them to some of the questions that you guys answered. So you can see from the questions you answered which human needs you are plugging with food. So, number 1, and these are not in any order of how important they are, because like I said, with these human needs, they are different for everybody. Certainty. The need for stability, security and reliability. Now, question 16, which was, I can find it. Question 16 said, I eat to feel at ease with the world. It provides a sense of security and safety. 51% of you said that that was true. And that would indicate to me that you are struggling with the need for certainty, and you are plugging that need for certainty with food because it gives you security. Okay? So what you need to do, if that was one of the questions you answered, you need to find a way of providing that stability, security and reliability yourself in another way other than food. You work this out for yourself. I haven't got time to tell you all these. I can't do all the work for you in this masterclass, but you know that's what you need to do. The second one was variety. So that was change, stimulation and challenge. Now question 24 was variety, and that basically said, I eat to provide variety or excitement. Example, when you go on holiday, you choose where to go by the number of different restaurants. I'd try that with me always before I had my surgery. First thing I'd look at was the reviews for the food, how many restaurants are in the area. If it was an all-inclusive hotel, it had to have more than one restaurant because I want to try different foods. I want variety. I was getting my variety needs met nearly completely by my food. And if you are one of the 40% said that that was you, then you need to think of getting your variety needs met in a different way. The next one was significance. So we need to be recognised, valued and acknowledged. Now 71% of you said that, Suzanne, I'll come back to you in a minute. 71% of you said that significance, question 14, I reward myself with food because I feel I deserve it. So that feeling valued and recognised and acknowledged may not be coming from elsewhere. You may not be getting the feelings of recognition, value and acknowledged from what you're doing outside, in your work, in your home, etc. So you're trying to give it to yourself. Now that's brilliant, because really, real spiritual growth is that we don't need that acknowledgement from elsewhere. But if you don't feel recognised and valued, you don't value yourself, then the chances are that you will try to feel valued by eating because you don't feel loved and valued. I think that was what I want. Reward yourself. So I'm going to reward myself for what I've done with food. 71% of you said that was the case. The next one is love and connection. So love and feeling connected with others. And that was a big one. Question 15. Show love through food. So making big dinners for people, giving people gifts of food, baking cakes for others, and giving yourself food for love. And that was 71% of you said that you did that. Contribution, to feel what is contributing to life and making a difference. So that was question 18. I eat when I'm bored or lonely. And growth as well was question 18, bored and lonely. And 91%, both of those. Now, why am I saying that's because you're bored and lonely? Or bored more than anything, is because you are not reaching out necessarily to fill the voids and the gaps and developing your character and spirit, contributing to the outside world. And because you're not doing that, you're like, what can I do? I'm a bit bored. So if you can develop your growth, your spiritual growth, like your human growth, like what you're doing now with self-help, that will help. If you can contribute somewhere else. So for example, contributing and helping others or doing things for other people instead of sitting in feeling that things aren't quite right, that you're bored, okay? Or you can just find something else to do. But these human need ones will actually stop the feeling of being bored. Okay, I'm going to come back to, somebody said a minute ago, what happens if, where was it? Thanks, Marie, for explaining. What has Marie explained? You can control your immediate environment, what's around you. If you're not going out, you can make more home-based decisions while waiting for things to return to normal. Control what you can change or let the things go you can't for now. Okay, perfect. But somebody's just put, I'm sure I saw something about what happens if, what about the fact that some human needs will never be met? Well, we can never meet them 100% because there's always going to be some that are lacking more than others, okay? But what we're trying to do is to quieten and discover and understand our unicorn so that when we're feeling these feelings, we can go, okay, what does our unicorn need? And if we can really work out what it really needs in that moment and we can plug that gap in that moment, then we are not going to feel uneasy and uncomfortable and in pain, and we are less likely to eat. Does that explain your question? But if we can develop the practice of looking at how to meet these human needs as much as we can, then we're actually almost stopping the unicorn from feeling upset in the first place. So we can either be proactive in this and actually work, how am I going to get these done this week? So what am I going to do for a variety this week? Okay, I'm a bit fed up of doing this, I always do this, or I always eat these food, let's put some different food in. Then you're actually proactively keeping the unicorn happy. Or you can wait till the feelings come in and start to learn, okay, what's this trying to get me to feel, and then look at the ones and say, are there any of those that are missing? Maybe I need to plug them. So there's two ways of doing it, and you can probably do both if you're really developing those skills. Okay, so what's good? Suzanne said it, Amanda. What about the fact that some human needs will never be met? Yeah, I think I've just answered that, Suzanne, have I? Have I answered that? Please let me know that if you're happy with the answer. Okay, so Now, that's the first thing. That's the basic human need. The second thing is we need to learn to feel our emotions. We cannot destroy energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. And when we stop it in our track, by using food and other things, it sticks. And it will come back. And it will come back stronger. What we resist persists. So that is why the feelings will escalate, get stronger and stronger, and the food only works for a small while, and we then feel we need to eat more, and we then feel we need to eat more, and the monkey grabs onto this and goes, happy days, yeah, come on unicorn, do your stuff, you know I'm a greedy bastard, and they work in cahoots, and before you know it, the pair of them together are getting you to eat everything in the house. So, if you answered yes to question 23, I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm sad, just eat, and you also said that you're an easily upset and emotional person. Oh, I'll talk that in a minute. But if you answered yes to question 23, I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm sad, I just eat. The chances are that that is because you are not feeling your emotions, and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and the monkey's coming in and they're working together, and they are absolutely having a field day. So what you need to do is to learn how to manage your emotions, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that now. So, in my experience, this is not 100% by any means, but in my experience, the majority of people that come to work with me because they're emotional eaters, or they're overweight, or whatever, I'm going to have a drink, I'm dying. Are what I call wild feelers. Now, there are wild feelers and there are mild feelers, and there are some in between. In this house, I am the wild feeler, without a doubt. And Peter is the mild feeler. I'll explain what I mean. If something great happened, like say for example, we won 500 quid on the lottery, yeah, and I'd be going balmy. Yeah, God, that's amazing. You know, you can see I'm a very demonstrative, very excitable. I feel joy like up there. Absolutely. You know, when I feel joy, I really feel joy. But when I feel pain, oh my God, it's down there. So my spectrum of feelings are huge. I'm a wild feeler, up and down, up and down. And that's great for some things, because I feel the joy of things that Peter never does. And I know, and I hope you won't mind me saying this, but sometimes when I get all excitable, he sort of giggles at me, and he feels a bit uncomfortable because he looks at me and I know he's looking at me as if to say, I wish I could be a bit more like that. Because he doesn't feel the joy the same. But alternatively, he doesn't feel the pain the same, and he never looks at me and goes, I wish I could feel a bit more like that. When one of our children say or do something that upsets me, he goes, it's not that important, Amanda, what's the matter? Come on. You know, I feel the pain deeply. I cry at Lassie, I cry at anything. I am a real wild feeler. So there are wild feelers and there are mild feelers. And those people that answered question 19, which is 73% of you, that said you struggle from everyday emotions, you are probably wild feelers. You feel emotions so painfully that you struggle with just something, or somebody will say something to you, and that was another one as well, I think, that was said, if you get easily upset what other people say, again, yeah, that's another one, you're probably a wild feeler. And what we need to learn to do is what I call emotional mastery. It's the most important thing you will ever learn. And if you come on the program with me, I will teach you, if you decide to sign up, how to become an emotional master. Because if we don't learn to feel our feelings and get the emotional mastery part, then eventually the feelings get stronger and stronger and stronger, and you will find that people will either end up with psychological problems, mental health issues that get bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it shows on our body. If you've heard of the word disease, it means dis-ease. It comes from a feeling of not being at ease. And there is massive amount of science nowadays that says the majority of physical symptoms in our bodies come from an emotional upset, from unbalanced emotions. So getting your emotions, feeling your emotions in their entirety and learning what to do with them is an amazing, amazing skill for our human, mental, psychological and physical well-being. And that's a big part of the course that I provide if you decide to come on with me. So learning to be an emotional master is one thing. Asking what is my unicorn missing? What does it need? So if, for example, you answered question 17 right, certain times of the day, you eat certain times of the day, most people say it's in the evenings, and I say that's because that's the quiet time. We can't switch the feelings off so easily. When we're busy and we're distracted and we're running around being a human doing, rather than a human being, then we don't feel it. When we are a human being and we just sit and we are being, that's when the head starts. That's when we start to feel these uncomfortable feelings. And because we've been learning not to feel them, we need something that will stop them in their tracks. So we go and get food because it does it quickly. The problem with that is that we'll eat something usually that's not appropriate for what we want, for our needs or where we want to get to. And then what happens then is we feel guilt and shame because we think, why the hell did I do that? Because don't forget, the monkey's always there trying to get food. So the minute the unicorn gives you an opportunity, the monkey comes right in there, bang, and we feel guilt, we feel shame, we start to feel really bad. The unicorn goes, oh God, no, I don't like you feeling upset. Go and have some more food because it makes you feel better. And the monkey's going, yes, happy days. So we've got all of this going on. Right, guys, are you with me? I've learned something. I've learned a new phrase, Peter. Are you with me? I'm definitely a wild feeler. Is it Monday? We could find out at the programme. Yes, Lisa, if you sign up for the masterclass I'm doing on Zoom on Monday, you'll find out all about the programme, what it entails, what you need to do, what I will do for you, and how much I'm asking you to pay for it, because at some time I do need to make a living to pay my bills. I hope you will understand that. The other thing that I do find as well is often when people don't pay for something, they don't value it the same. I always say that money is the currency of commitment. If you've paid something for something, you are very, very, very much more likely to do the work that's necessary. And what I don't want is people coming on courses with me and not doing the work, because it's no good for my reputation and it's no good for your development. So that's why if you take it further, I will be charging something, and I hope you understand that. Quiet time in the evening making us think of upsetting or annoying things is so true. Yes, I get the wild emotions, just don't let them out, so it makes it worse. Yes, wild healer, definitely with you, very insightful. What can you find out from Amanda? I'll have to look at that. Marie, can you send me a text as to what they need to find out for me, because I can't see it on here. Okay, right, now there is one last bit of the unicorn. And this will be an extension activity for tomorrow. So if you've had enough now and you want to go, that's fine. But this is a really important bit. And it needs a little bit higher level thinking. Shall I carry on? Give me some hearts and thumbs up if you want me to carry on. There's enough people. If you've had enough, I may just stop it here and leave this for the course. I need to see at least 30 hearts and thumbs up before I'll carry on. So, okay, all right. I think you want me to carry on, although some of them are coming from the same people. Yeah, okay. Some are coming from different ones. No, that'll do. Okay, great. Right. So the other part of the unicorn is where the self-sabotage comes from. Oh yeah, you'll go, I love this, because most of us realise that somewhere along the line we're self-sabotaging. The unicorn is the self-sabotage saviour. It looks for situations that will put you in danger and make you feel pain, and if it perceives those situations will provide too much struggle, pain or discomfort, it will send really strong signals to the human to stop you from doing the thing that you want to do. Whether or not the thing the human wants to do is the right thing for the human or not, because it can't think in terms of consequence. It just looks back in the computer and goes, oh no, you tried that before, that didn't work and it caused you pain. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Okay, and that's where self-sabotage comes from. So because it can't see into the future, it can only look in the computer at the events of the past, and the beliefs, events and beliefs are in the computer that are stored there. It uses those to make a decision as to whether the thing the human being wants to do or not is safe. That sounds brilliant. That's really good, isn't it? You've got something there going, no, that's not safe, don't do it. And if the computer had got a healthy hard drive and wasn't full of gremlin beliefs that are full of fear and self-criticism, then you'd have a really healthy unicorn that would keep you safe, but encourage you to push yourself a little bit because it wants that growth and development humans need. And you'd go on and you'd get your best life. You'd make some mistakes, that's normal, but you'd understand that I've made a mistake, I need to grow from this, that's fine, and you'd carry on. It would understand that the change is an important part of growth, and it encourages you to take measured risks and allow human to decide whether the risk is worth taking or not. Does that make sense? Hearts, please. Hearts and thumbs up if it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Not very many of you. I've only got one heart there. Oh, hang on, it does. See, poor Marie, I'm so scared of feeling and acknowledging my emotions that I have to concentrate here and answering questions, and promise myself I will watch again later and act on it to avoid having to feel and act now. Marie, darling, I have known you for 8 years, and that is the first time you've acknowledged that, and I think that's amazing because it's something that I've known for a long, long time. I'm sending you, I know you're going to hate this, but I'm sending you love. Okay, so if your unicorn, and where am I up to now? Oh God. I have to make notes because I'm menopausal. I forget. It's menopausal. I've got a menopausal monkey as well, by God. If your unicorn is full of fear, it's because it, right. Taking risks, keep safe, don't do anything new. Yeah, so it's the master of self-sabotage. It's trying to keep you safe. So for example, if one of your beliefs is that you are not good enough, it will stop you from trying to do things so you don't feel pain. So it will stop you from doing anything that you might possibly, in your words, fail at. What it doesn't understand is that everything we do is a growing opportunity. It sees things very black and white. So the problem is it just reiterates to your computer that gremlin belief that you're not good enough. If you've got a gremlin belief that says, I will never lose weight, it will do everything it can to ensure that is what happens because it believes that is what you want. It will stop you from going on a diet and sticking to it. It will also try to stop you from going on a diet because it will look into the computer where there are lots of stored memories of dieting, and it will see that dieting means struggle and pain and lack of, and it'll go, no, we're not going there again, and it'll try and keep you away from that pain. But it can't think of future, it can only think of past. Its frame of reference is only from the storage in your computer. It can't do what the human brain can do and think about cause and effect. I know I keep saying that, but it's really important. So, I'll give you an example. The human's reading a magazine in the doctor's surgery or the hairdressers, and it sees an article for a new fad diet. This has been me over and over again. The human thinks, this is the one. Got it. Okay, I need to lose some weight. I'm going to give this everything I have got. This is the one that's going to do it. Goes, makes a shopping list, goes to the shops, gets all the right food, and it's really excited for a nice slim future. All is well in the world, I've got this covered. However, the unicorn hears the word diet. It's got its little unicorn thing, that's its antenna, it goes, diet, okay. What does diet mean? It looks into the computer for beliefs and memories about diets. It sees that you've been on lots of diets and you usually struggle and they cause you pain. Uh-oh, that's a warning sign. It sends signals to the human, be careful, and it tries to keep you safe by stopping you dieting. What is more, it looks in the belief section of the computer and finds a belief that says, I will never lose weight. Okay then, the unicorn says, let's make sure that belief is right. We need to strengthen that belief because it wants you to be right and happy. Where consciousness goes, energy flows. Told you that before. So it will either keep sending stronger signals to the human to try and get them to stop the diet, or if the human continues to take over, it'll look into the computer further and look for the bits that you found a struggle when you were on the diet previously. So it sees that you felt deprived of chocolate and biscuits, and that was the hardest bit. So it sends signals to your brain saying, don't forget, you're going to find keeping away from chocolate and biscuits the hardest because you always did. Guess what you're thinking about all the time? Who's going to get it first? Come on then, write it in. What are you going to be thinking about all the time if the unicorn's doing that? I'm going to let you answer this one. What are you going to be thinking about all the time? It sees that you felt deprived of chocolate and biscuits and that was the hardest bit. So it sends signals to your brain saying, don't forget, you're going to find keeping away from chocolate and biscuits the hardest. Guess what you're going to be thinking? Chocolate and biscuits, absolutely. So that's why there's one type of food that you really struggle with, because you've got this association with being on a diet, I need chocolate and biscuits, that like deprivation. And the unicorn's going, you're going to find that really hard, you're going to find that really hard, because it's trying to stop you, it's trying actually to keep you safe. But we don't realise that. Now I'm not saying that this is a bad thing to eat chocolate biscuits. Oh sorry, wait a minute. So what will happen here is the human brain goes, okay, I've got this cracked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find an alternative way of getting chocolate and biscuits. So it'll find a way around it. It'll make keto biscuits or sugar-free biscuits. Now I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. I make sugar-free cakes and biscuits all the time because they're a better, healthier option for my body. But when you're doing it because you cannot let go of your quick fix food instead of what's a good choice for your body, then your unicorn is driving the behaviour and not your human. So if losing weight is going to provide more of a threat to our well-being, as perceived from our unicorn, from its stored knowledge in the computer, it will stop you trying to lose weight. I'm going to give you an example of that for me. My daughter, I love my daughter probably, I'm not going to make, very, very much. Very, 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 very much. Okay? And when I was losing my weight, I'd always been the big girl. She was always a really, really slim young girl, 30s, she's in her 30s, and she just had a baby, and she was feeling a bit frumpy, she was feeling a bit unhappy, she was feeling a bit, she'd still got a bit of a tummy, she didn't feel very confident with herself. I went to the doctors and I came flying in the house and I said, oh my God, I'm 70 kilos. I've never been 70 kilos in my life. That's amazing. Now, she's always been really, really supportive of me, of my development, of my weight, losing my weight. She's one of my biggest supporters. She whipped round like that and she went, try to rub it in then. And I was like, oh, what? She went, well, you know that I'm more than 70 kilos now and you're weighing less than me. You're trying to make me feel bad. You know what? Why are you doing that, Mum? And you keep putting your arms around me, around my tummy. You know that I've got a flabby tummy and I feel uncomfortable. And it was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe it. And in that moment, it was like, I cannot cause this girl pain. If me losing weight, this is what my unicorn said, if losing weight means that I'm upsetting that person that I love so much, I am going to stop losing weight. Because I cannot cause that pain. The pain in me of upsetting my daughter is far too great. Within a month of that conversation, I put back on half a stone. And it wasn't until I was working with my coach, and I said, I just don't get why I'm putting this weight on. I don't understand why it's coming on. I've got this drive to eat all these things, and I know it's against my instincts and it just doesn't feel right. And we identified the self-sabotage. We identified that moment that I felt threatened. My unicorn was threatened by that. Which she didn't know about the unicorn. This is stuff I've devised, but I was feeling threatened by it. And I had decided I couldn't make my daughter unhappy. As soon as I realised that, I worked in it, had a conversation with her, and I said, she went, oh Mum, stop it. I was having a really bad day. It was just, please don't. I'm so much happier. You're so much of a happier person. Everything's miles better. Please, just ignore me. I'm sorry. And my unicorn quietened down. And the weight started to come off again. Another one of mine, nothing to do with weight, but it had a weight consequence. When I was a little girl, about 7 or 8, I remember I think I was reciting a poem or singing a song or something in the family living room. Grandparents were there, parents were there, aunties and uncles. And I was singing this song. And I was obviously amusing when I was doing it. And they all started to laugh at me. And I was absolutely mortified. I started crying. I was like, and they were going, even more laughing then because I was crying. They were going, oh, we're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you. And I was going, but I'm not laughing, I'm crying. What, you're not laughing with me? I just didn't get it. Now, in that moment, and we call this a defining moment, where our limiting beliefs are made, I learned that I was being judged for what I did. I saw it as a negative judgment from my nearest and dearest, and it hurt like hell. And even when I told them, you're laughing at me, they still laughed at me. And I didn't understand it. I learned that people didn't think I had anything worth watching or hearing in that moment. Fast forward 45 years, 50 years, 45, 50 years. And I decided 2 years ago I needed to develop a course around emotional eating, helping bariatric patients. I've been deciding to do this for ages, and something kept going in the way. I kept making excuses. I kept saying I'm not going to do it. And I worked out that I was scared of pushing, of being visible to you guys because I may be judged badly like I was before. Who is she? She doesn't know anything. And most of us have that to some extent. And the unicorn wants to stop me being the bad contestant on X Factor, basically. He wants to stop Simon Cowell judging me. Or you guys judging me. Again, in a very short space of time, I stuck half a stone on. Now, weight protects us from having to be visible a lot of the time. And this was stopping me from being visible. My unicorn was saying, you're heavy now. There's no way you can go out there because they really are going to judge you now. How can you, if you're putting weight on, go out there and help people with emotional eating and weight? Come on, just stay in. Don't do it. It's fine. Now, this is what we call a double bind, because I, as a human, knew that it was what was needed. I felt a sense of absolute necessity to share this stuff I knew with the world. I knew there was a huge lack of help in this department for people like you. And I do know I can't be everyone's cup of tea. I've had some people this week going, Amanda, I'm getting off this, it's just not for me. And, I know that. But if this masterclass, for example, just helps 10 people, I feel I've done my job. That's my human brain, but my unicorn thinks, no, you're going to get judged, people will laugh at you, they'll think you're rubbish, don't do it. Oh, when you were a girl. When I was a girl, I didn't have, it looks back at memories, because when she was a girl, she didn't have these thoughts of helping the world. If I encourage her to eat, she won't want to get visible and no one will laugh at her or think she is rubbish. Okay? So there's loads more that I'll share with you. I have people that go, if I get slim, I'm going to get loads of attention. I might get hit on. I don't want to get hit on because I'm scared I might run off with somebody and that'll break my family up. Again, another self-sabotage. So what the unicorn does, it gets us to stay at home and eat chocolate, and we know that works. So how do we stop sabotage? I can't teach you that. It's 8:05 now. God, I said this was going to be a quick one tonight. I can't teach you that on here, it's complicated, but again, if you come on the course with me, you will learn how to do that. It is a really complicated but very freeing thing to do. But if you can identify what may be sabotaging you, it's a start there. So start by asking yourself if you are aware of what could be sabotaging you. And if you are aware, that's a really good start. I'd like to lose my voice. I think my unicorn's telling me it's time to shut. Okay, so that's the unicorn. Very quickly recap. It's the ethereal soul needs part of our psyche. It wants to ensure our basic human needs are met. It sends signals in feelings which are trying to tell us something. If we have stopped the feelings in our tracks because of the pain with quick fixes like food, alcohol, drugs, etc., the unicorn that drives this behaviour, it doesn't understand what stops the feeling, it just wants to stop it. If we don't feel the feelings or listen to the messages eventually get louder and louder, because what we resist, we persist. And that causes us anxiety, pain, and sometimes even physical symptoms. So we have to learn to feel our feelings. It will sabotage us if it thinks that what we want to do will cause us pain. It is trying to protect us. So we need to get rid of the gremlins out of the computer that it keeps looking back at, and we're going to learn something about that tomorrow, so it can look for better beliefs. We need to provide our basic human needs with other things other than food on a regular basis, either proactively or reactively. And we need to learn how to feel our emotions instead of stopping them in their tracks with quick fixes. And it is a tall order, but if you join me, I'm going to show you how to do that. So for your task for tomorrow, you are going to identify your unicorn very much like you did in Monkey. What are its attributes? What is it? And also what I want you to do is to identify which of the human needs your unicorn is crying out for, and give it a way that you can give that human need without food. The extension activity for tomorrow is see if you can identify any self-sabotage. That's an optional one. The first one is attributes of the unicorn. Again, you can put a picture up if you want. You can tell a story. There have been some amazing stories today. You don't have to do it. It can just be attributes. But which human needs do you feel that are lacking? And if you're not aware of them, you can look at the questions and look back on here from what I said. And how you might want to get those human needs met. Now, at the end of this masterclass, I will give you an opportunity to find out what each of those questions meant for you on an individual basis. So it's like a mini report. I will charge a small admin fee for it, that you can almost like get a step-by-step. This is what you're struggling with from your questions, and this is what you might need to look at further, blah, blah, blah. So if any of you are interested in that, I will be telling you about that on Monday as well. If you come on the course with me, you will automatically get that anyhow. But there is an option for you just to get your individual personalised roadmap to take away with you from this masterclass too. And I'm just going to charge an admin fee for that, because we have to do them literally individually. It's very time consuming, and so I am going to charge a little bit for the time that it takes for us to do that. I hope you understand that. So tomorrow we're going to find out about the computer. How do we clean the hard drive? How do we get the computer as much as we can? And this is it's a lifetime process really. But how do we start doing it? Which of those gremlin beliefs are getting in the way the most, and what can we do about it? So I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I'm sorry I've nattered on a bit too long again. As you can probably see, this is my passion. I am so passionate about this stuff, because I seriously think it makes all the difference. And for me, it's not made just all the difference to my eating. It's made the difference to my life, the way I'm living, my energy, my relationships, my prosperity, because it's pushed me to do things in my career that I would never have dreamt of doing before. It's had an effect on every single part of my life for the better. And I am passionate about getting this stuff out there so that people like you can get what you need to not just feel comfortable around food, but to live the very, very best life you were destined to live. So thank you for tonight. Try to remember to give me a bit of a review. I'd love that if you could. Like I say, if you like it, tell the world. If you don't like it, tell me. Alright guys, have a wonderful evening. I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thanks for bearing with me. Take care.